Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. This time I'm going to show you how to enter and complete the Tower of Hera, which is also known as the Mountain Tower if you're playing in the Game Boy Advance version. There is no side questing involved here, you just gotta walk to the tower. You will get an item on the way, but we can discuss that when we get there. So without further ado, let's get started. When you're leaving the Desert Palace, you want to pick up the rock on the right and then just dash into the desert. You want to be very careful of these cacti here. If you dash while you were hugging that wall up there near the cave, you can get poked and bounce off. There was a heart piece in that cave, but I'll cover that in my heart piece guide. But you just need a bomb to open a wall there. So we're going to head north at this point. We can now lift this big rock here now that we have the power glove. So you're going to go ahead and do that. And then we are going to keep heading north here. So north some more. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get just west of the sanctuary. And there was a rock, or a big white rock, that was blocking the path to a cave. If you noticed it earlier, if you're just exploring, that's where we're going to go. So it's right up here. A couple more screens. Now that you have the Pegasus boots, there is a heart piece that you can get. One screen to the east, right here. You just run into some rocks and reveal the cave. There's two buzzards here. We're going to go ahead and do a sword spin to just get rid of them. They can reappear later. It seems to be a little bit random, but sometimes if I kill them there, they won't appear later. Alright, so lift up that rock, head into the cave, and we're going to jump off this ledge. We're going to make our way to Death Mountain. So just follow this path here, go right, down, right, and up, and then you're going to find the old man. When the old man is following you, you cannot use the Pegasus boots, so don't bother trying to run. The old man will talk to you, tell you to watch out for some pits, tell you about the golden power, Aghanim and all that. So there's a bit of a lore dump with this guy. I believe his granddaughter was one of the maidens, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's his deal. But just follow this path, and then you'll eventually find the cave exit, and you'll be in Death Mountain. So you have some enemies here. If you want, you could just slash them with your sword, and then they will turn purple and turn to stone. And when they do that, you can't move them. So if you got to be careful, because sometimes you can hit them and then they will wind up blocking your path, and then you got to deal with these boulders that are falling down from the mountain. So just keep that in mind. You got to be very cognizant of where you actually push them into with your sword. Once you reach the hideout for the old man, or the old man's cave, he'll give you the magic mirror, and we're going to use that in a second. So you're going to head up this big ladder here, follow this wall, and then run to the east, and you're going to find a warp point. So go ahead and stand on that. You're going to warp to the Dark World, and since you don't have the Moon Pearl, you're going to turn into a bunny. And then you want to take out your magic mirror, stand right over here, use the mirror. There's a heart piece here, but I'm skipping it for now. But warp back to the Light World, hop off this ledge, and then you can enter the Tower of Hera. So the Tower of Hera is a relatively quick and painless dungeon. There's a couple of rooms that can be a little tricky. One of which is coming up in a second. What you want to do is you want to hit the crystal switch, push down the blue blocks, hit it again, bring up the blue blocks, and then you can grab the key in here. And then you want to use the mirror to warp back to the entrance. Alternatively, you can just go up the stairs. It's not a big deal. Bring down the blocks, turn around, put them back up, walk across the red area. Then you want to use your newfound key in this door here and head down a floor. This room here has a lot of floating tiles that you just gotta wait out. So you want to hit the crystal switch, drop those blue blocks, and then just kind of draw your sword and just wait for the tiles to come to you. And then, it just hits the sword, you reset, get yourself into a new position, and just keep repeating the process until the door opens. So that tile there will almost always, I think unless you're in the south part of the room, that tile in the top left corner will always break on its own just because of the layout of the room. Only have two more tiles now. So this is one, and then two. And then once this last one breaks, the door opens. There's a crystal switch here. If you want to be tricky, you could diagonally throw your boomerang, hit the switch, and then walk down. There are two red-headed Stalfos here. When you slash your sword at them, if you don't kill them, which I believe they take 2 sword slashes, but if you don't kill them, they will throw a bone at you. So it's best to use the pots in here just to be super safe. Otherwise, you could just try to use a charged sword slash. But light all 4 torches, get the big key, and warp back to the entrance. Put down the tiles, and then you want to head up a floor. Now we're going to begin ascending the tower. So these enemies here, you can just knock them into the pits. That counts as a death, and once you have all 3 dead, we're going to kill this last one with a pot. You can go ahead and enter the next room. So there's a floor panel star thing that just moves the pits around. So you want to try to keep the red tiles down as much as possible, because there is basically a group of pots just near the boss room that has a bunch of hearts underneath it. And chances are you're going to have to attempt this boss quite a few times, because he can knock you out of the room, and then you have to do the entire fight over again, no matter where you were in the fight. So if he knocks you down, then you have an opportunity to get some hearts as long as you have the red tiles down. Alright, so we are going to open up the big chest here in a moment, but I do want to show you something. So on 5F, you want to hit that floor switch to move the pits around, but if you're in need of a fairy, like if you're not feeling too safe in this dungeon, what you can do is, you see the 3 pits to my right. There is a narrow one at the top of that row of pits. That top right pit, that narrow one, if you go down it, you will wind up in a fairy room. I think it has 2 fairies. You can catch those, use a warp tile, and go right back to the 5th floor. So that's a little trick there. After you switch the floor tile to move the pit, you want to go down the top one from the top of the pit. This way you land near the chest. If you go from the bottom of the pit, you will fall through the floor. So you got to go from the top of that pit. Head back up to 5F now that you have the Moon Pearl, and then you can head up the stairs into the boss's room, which is Moldworm. Moldworm is a very tricky fight. You'll notice that there are pits all around his platform, and the middle one is the one you need to look out for. If he bumps you into the middle pit, or if you fall down, you're going to go all the way down to the beginning of the dungeon, and you got to make your way all the way back up here. Whereas if he knocks you off the sides, you just go 1 floor down. Not a big deal. The objective is to slash your sword to hit his tail, and when he is down to 1 HP, or 1 hit left, he will start going really fast. So my general strategy here is to kind of bait him into following me for a second, and then he will eventually turn around, and then I turn around, get a little bit closer, slash my sword, and then just keep repeating that process. So sometimes you just want to face tank that last hit. This way when he hits you, he turns, and then you just slash your sword, and he dies. It's a tricky fight. There are times, even as a speedrunner, that I would have to reset my runs here just because he doesn't cooperate. It can be frustrating, but just persevere, and you'll get it. And that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. You can also join my new community Discord server. The link for that is in the video description below. If you're interested in supporting this channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. And as always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.